everyone, it's your host Cyber Gaming Studios, and welcome back to another video. I do apologize if you hear some ringing bells in the background. I actually have another cat in the house. We just recently got her. I'll explain the story in another day, but I wanted to make this video because I have something really interesting I wanted to show everybody, and I've been working on last night, and I finally got the idea. So before you ask yourself, Cyber, what did I do now? What did I create that is so fantastic and really cool? And what did I do to change an Xbox 360 into a slash PS4 or Xbox One to slash almost to a PS3? So we're going to get into that in this video. So I'm going to show you guys right about now. I'm going to shut the screen and I can show you guys. I have an Xbox 360 Slim. I know there's some cosmetic damage. I know I had to actually replace this case because this case is actually pretty old, and I actually spilled some glue last night on there. So yeah. So this actually Xbox 360 is very unique, and it is not like any other Xbox 360 you'll see out there on the market. This is a completely, it's OEM. It's all OEM parts except one part, which was a couple things were replaced during the lifespan that I currently had this console, and I'll show you all that. So this is an Xbox 360 Slim OEM, no custom firmware, no mods or anything like that. This is everything that I'm going to be showing you is cosmetic. Not cosmetic, but more of like internal hardware. So I gave this Xbox 360 a really good hardware upgrade. So I'm gonna explain to you how this works. So yesterday I was playing my PS4, and then I looked at my Xbox 360 and I thought, you know what can I do? What can I do to alleviate the amount of space that I have currently around this console? Because previously, before, I had a cord that would go in here for my controller because I have to wait for a DIY DIP to USB adapter so I can solder the new connection so that I can charge up the battery. And the only way I can play the controller, use the Xbox 360 is wired. So yeah. So and then I had an external hard drive that came out the side. That was pretty much space consumption. So I thought an idea, what can I do to improve the Xbox 360 experience, my Xbox 360 experience overall than I compare to when I did with my PS4. I'll show you my PS4 in another video of what I've did, and I'm gonna be really excited when I make that video. So what did I do to make this Xbox 360 special? Now, I wouldn't, if you were planning to do this, I wouldn't recommend it. It's kind of, if you don't have the tools. I didn't have the tools to do this. I basically used pliers, and I used my hand. And trust me when I use my hand, I don't know if you can see it, there's like a cut right there. I cut myself using the metal, cutting the metal part. And it's very frustrating because it's a lot of work. So we're going to turn the console around, and you're going to see two wires that stick out. I gotta be very careful because this can actually break. So you'll see that I did a lot of work onto the upgrading the hardware. So unlike the previous generation that never had 3.0 ports, I've actually installed 3.0 ports onto this Xbox 360, and I know that it doesn't look great because the back plate is missing, but I integrated a four port USB 3.0 hub. It's actually really works, and it's connected to the back one. It's on the top one, and then there is a 500 gigabyte 5400 RPM 2.5 inch hard drive with a USB 3.0 HDD to USB 3.0 adapter. This is pretty much the best thing that I've ever invested into this Xbox, and I'm gonna explain to you how this works. So whenever I turn on the console, it's going to go through its cycle. So when it goes through its cycle, it's going to start powering up everything like the USB ports. So the 3.0 USB ports will turn on, and then the hard drive will turn on. So why did I convert this into such as a PS3 kind of form console? And my whole goal here was trying to do as less cosmetic damage to the console itself. Now, I know that this may seem a lot of damage, and it pretty much seems like it is, but take the fact that the piece that was right here, you can see right here, that was a lot of metal. There was a lot of metal because I know that I wanted to be able to make it mostly into a digital only console where it's only digital. But however, I came up to a conundrum. Majority of my games that I have are disc based, and I do have them installed onto the hard drive, which saves me money in the long run. But I didn't want to remove the drive, so I had to create something to be able to not only house the hard drive inside the console itself without adding additional cosmetic items to the console, but have it to a point where it makes me feel that I have more room to work with. I can integrate more technology into this console and make it a beast of a console. Now, I haven't modified the firmware. The firmware is stock and the OS is stock, so I haven't really modified that. So I'll show you guys what I have replaced on overall since I had the console. So I think it was like a month ago, this fan right here would fail to spin, and I know that, and I would get the red light of death, the red ring of death. Now, I know that what the problem was because this fan is usually most cause issues for overheating for these specific models, and I've seen a lot of people say that the Xbox 360 Slim has its issues where over time, as it gets old, the fan will stop working and it will overheat and shut down. Now, the problem here is that it didn't cause red ring of death. What it did is that it overheated so much that the Xbox 360, to prevent damage, shut itself down. And it would happen like every 20 minutes, and I used the console, and it would be very, very frustrating. So I did replace the fan with a brand new OEM one. It was actually really cheap on eBay, and I was pretty happy when I installed it. It wasn't the right one that I did, but I got the fit. The next thing I did was that the power supply that I had for this Xbox 360 has gone bad. It necessarily hasn't gone bad. It was just really dusty, so it probably needed clean. And unfortunately, the screws that unscrew the power supply, they were badly damaged. So I was unable to access the power adapter. So I bought a replacement one. It's not OEM, but it's third party. But it worked for me, and since I don't use the console all the time, I'm not really worrying about it at this moment for a new power supply. It works just as fine, and I did open up the power supply to see what they did with the generic one. But I did open up the old power supply, the broken one, and I don't know if you guys can see it. It's like right over here. There's like, you'll see glue. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm trying to find it myself. So it's between the fans, and I think the fan is covering the LED. But the LED that was for the both power supply, I actually took solder and I soldered all the points to make it where red, green lights up. So whenever I turn on the console, that LED will shine through the fan. I mean, it's not the brightest like you see custom mods fans, but I wanted to do as much as cosmetic, not much cosmetic to the device itself. But it does shine and it does work. It just I use it to let me know if the console is turning on. It also can use it to see if the fan is spinning without having to disassemble the console to see either if the fan is spinning or not. Yeah, so I also had other mod on here, which it had a fan back here, and then it had a fan here. Unfortunately, due to the spacing, the amount of space in this console, I had to remove them because, unfortunately, when I had to remove the motherboard to just break this wall of metal piece, I didn't want to break the motherboard, so I had to remove the motherboard, which in result, I had to remove the fans that were mounted because they were actually not properly, you know, screwed. They were actually glued on, and that became a huge problem. So I decided, you know what, not to have any additional fans in here. But they're all as I said, there's all 3.0, 3.0, and 3.0 in a 2.0 port. And now I have 4 additional ports to be able to use 3.0. The thing I have noticed that only problem that I'm having with 3.0, with specifically only the hard drive, not the USB ports, is that whenever I have the console plugged in and then I turn it on, or I've turned it off and then turn it on, sometimes the hard drive won't be recognized. And I know that's not the hard drive's fault. It's mostly because it's 3.0. So I would have to unplug the power, wait a few seconds, plug it back in, and then turn it on, or just basically unplug the USB and then replug it back in, and that would work without having to disconnect the power. I know that seems very tedious, but to me it doesn't really bother me as much because I'm pretty much used to it, and the majority of the time I have this console unplugged anyways from the wall socket because I have one. I have to, like, if I want to use the PS4, I have to disconnect the Xbox 360 to use PS4 and vice versa. So that's pretty much I've done. There is no hard drive. I can't insert another hard drive. I probably will eventually replace the internal hard drive connectors because I have destroyed them from the fans. So that's what I was using for power input for the fans. And now that I have more room in there, I can possibly reinsert a hard drive, but I'm not going to do that for a very long time, and I don't have any desire to do it at this moment, but in the future I probably will. That's pretty much it of the video. I hope you guys enjoy. If you guys did enjoy and enjoyed this cool